Am I the butthole for insisting my in-laws replace my son's car seat instead of my nephew's? Hey Reddit. I am married to a great man and we have a son together, Noah, 3 male. My husband's sister and her partner also have a son the same age, Brody. We don't speak very often as we tend to clash a little bit, but are usually civil enough for the kids' sake. My in-laws live within walking distance to our house, and they asked to take Noah to the park. We of course, had no problem with this, and switched his car seat from my car into theirs. They had a fun afternoon and then came home. However, we forgot to take the car seat out of their car. No matter. I wasn't going anywhere, so I said I would pick it up the next day. The next day came and they made excuses that they were using the car. I let it go, but a day soon turned into nearly a week and I still had no car seat for Noah. We didn't need it, as everything we needed was within walking distance, but it was just a bit annoying. Anyway, on the Saturday my husband hears that mother-in-law was babysitting Brody for the day. Mother-in-law picked him up and used Noah's car seat, despite Brody having his own. Apparently they didn't want to make a fuss of switching them. This is actually a point where me and sister-in-law clash, as I prefer to rear-face my son as long as possible and have bought a pricier seat to do so, whereas she believes this is stupid and a waste of money, and has an own-brand front-facing seat which costs significantly less than our ERF one and has been very vocal about how bad my choices are, how cruel I am, he must be bored/uncomfortable, so I was surprised to hear that she was happy to put Brody in such an uncomfortable seat. Long story short, they ended up in an accident. Everyone was fine, Brody included, which in part was due to the car seat. Obviously, since it was in an accident, it now needed replacing. The problem lies here. My sister-in-law, and now mother-in-law too, insist that, should their insurance pay for a new seat, they use the money to pay for a new seat to replace Brody's front-facing one. I disagree, it was their choice to buy that seat and they still have it. If they want a new one, they should pay for it. They used our seat that belongs to my son and now we don't have one at all. So we should get the replacement, since it was our seat in the first place. I think I'm right because it's an expensive seat and we aren't made of money. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law are calling me in butthole to put a price on Brody's safety, but I disagree. She was the one to put a price on it by buying him a cheap seat in the first place, saying it doesn't matter and it's only a car seat when she knew the risks of what she was buying. I tried to help her back when she got it, but she told me I was stupid and would do better listening to her. AITA? We now have no car seat and will have to fork out for a new one, which I don't think is fair, but they seem to think I'm being awful by expecting ours to be replaced and not Brody's. I feel like I'm in a fever dream. NTA. How is this even a discussion? Of course they replace your car seat. This mother-in-law should absolutely be replacing Noah's seat. If she refuses to do that, at the very least she should give you half of the funds provided by the insurer for the replacement seat, or an amount from the funds proportional to Noah's higher cost seat versus Brody's lower cost seat. If she doesn't at least contribute to Noah's replacement seat from the fund, she's clearly putting a higher price on Brody's safety than Noah's safety. Clearly NTA. As an aside, it might be worth looking into your own home and contents insurance, if you have it, as sometimes you can claim a certain amount for items outside the home. May not be relevant here but helped me when I had a bike stolen. As a further aside, was your mill at fault in the accident? Edit. As to whether mother-in-law was at fault, I was merely wondering because if she was at fault it makes her even more of an butthole. As to the replacement seat, I 100% agree that original poster is entitled to full replacement of Noah's seat. There is no question. I can't even comprehend mother-in-law's response. However, if mother-in-law is that much of an that she is even questioning it, then surely even she can agree that original poster is entitled to something rather than nothing. Even the most illogical person would agree that original poster deserves some compensation. As to the insurance, I don't pretend to know much about insurance claims, but I agree with some of the suggestions that original poster should potentially get involved in the claim process and get the insurers to argue on her behalf if she can. For example, someone suggested a home and contents insurer might be able to subrogate her right to claim from the auto insurer. Keep us informed, original poster. I'd love to know how this turns out. I'd argue that she's responsible for paying for a new seat. Period. Half the insurance money isn't good enough. They forgot the seat, and the mother-in-law kept using it for a different child. It doesn't seem like she asked if that was okay, And she could have been using Brody's seat and keeping Noah's in the garage or the house. She and the sister-in-law basically repurposed Noah's seat for convenience, and I doubt they would have given it back. The mother-in-law got in the accident, she's responsible for paying for someone else's property that she broke. And the full amount. I honestly wonder if they conveniently forgot to return Noah's car seat so they didn't have to go through the hassle of moving Brody's. Or they forgot because they realized Op's seat was better and thought they could wear her down into letting them keep it. This one is correct. Honestly, it was theft. Keeping the seat beyond the return date was theft, and then it was destroyed. The thief needs to replace what was stolen, not upgrade the co-conspirators thing. I take car seats very seriously, and this would have me calling the insurance agent to report that property damaged had been my stolen item, and that the thief was trying to use the claim money elsewhere. I would imply fraud, because that's where it's going. It could be proven too if original poster can furnish the receipts from the car seat purchase, which mother-in-law and sister-in-law wouldn't have. Oh. This. Yes. Imagine taking a grandchild's only car seat for another grandchild and forcing that kid's parent to buy a new seat, her own child. It appears sister-in-law may be a single or lower-income mother, and mother-in-law is trying to push the delegations off to her son. It doesn't have to be a difference in income. Some grandmothers strongly favor their daughters' kids over their sons, seeing their sons' children as belonging to some other woman who took their son away temporarily, whereas their daughter's family is an offshoot of their own. Exactly this. My mom has 4 grandchildren already, from 2 of my younger brothers, and she still says that she can't wait for me to have kids one day because it's different when it's your daughter's kids instead of your son's kids, apparently. That makes me sad for your nibblings. Yeah, this is exactly what happened, honestly. They knew the seat was better, but sister-in-law was too cheap to buy one and figured she could try to get away with using Ops for as long as she could. Original poster is totally right, sister-in-law should replace the seat, like no arguments about it. NTA, they need to replace your car seat. As a parent who is tasked with changing around car seats when needed, mother-in-law didn't want to go through the hassle of switching in and out seats is my best guess as to why they kept the seat. Edit. Also, if insurance replaced Brody's seat and not your son's, this gives Brody 2 car seats so that mother-in-law will no longer be hassled with switching them out and you're stuck replacing yours. Of course they did. If she doesn't reimburse original poster in full for that same model of car seat, then 1. Gather any documentation about the purchase of the car seat, receipts etc. 2. Get the police accident report showing the car seat was in their car at the time of the accident. 3. Save any texts where the in-laws kept making excuses for not returning the seat. 4. Small claims court ASAP. Exactly what I came here to say. And all car seats have serial numbers, so it's easy to know which have been in accidents and who purchased them. Only if your spouse is prepared to not speak to his parents any longer. Frankly, if they aren't prepared to fight for this, they are a failure of a spouse and enabling this behavior. My mother came to visit after our middle child was born. It was a tough pregnancy and he was in the NICU for health things that was stressful enough. She kept making comments about how she felt like she was on vacation when we asked her to help since my wife had a C-section. The final straw was her calling my wife dramatic and chaotic because she was crying upset about the nurses in the NICU care for our son. I told her it was time to go to bed and told her to leave the next morning. The only reason she stayed the night was because it was a 2-hour drive and it was 11 p.m. When you get married, your parents take a back seat to your family that you chose, not the other way around. Damn. That's not even right of her. That's insane. Your wife went through major abdominal surgery and was trying to recover. She also was home when her baby was in the NICU. That's not where healthy babies go. I'm sure it was agonizing to be away from that baby, trying to heal from surgery, and having someone else in the house talking about the great vacation they were on. Ugh. You did the right thing. With that in mind, do you still want them to watch your kid? What's with this halfsies crap? Mother-in-law is obligated to return an intact car seat equivalent to the one that was damaged in her accident. That's what her insurance will pay for and that's what she should buy, then immediately return it to the op. If the op's husband, who is mysteriously missing from this discussion, wants to go halfsies with his sister on a third seat to be permanently kept in their mother's car, they can do that after the he and original poster are made whole for their loss. What's with this halfsies crap? Sometimes it makes me wonder what people are smoking when these ideas pop into their heads, so that I stay away from it. Persona breaks your property. Persona replaces your property. The end. The 50-50 folks are the ones who believe that compromise is always the solution. Compromise only applies when there are two legitimate options, and even then it isn't always the best way to go. Here there is no question that the Ops family is owed a new car seat. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law can buy another of their choice if they want a seat in mother-in-law's car all the time. They told me to eat a bar of soap, but I didn't want to. We compromised and I ate half a bar of soap. You dropped this, sports medal. Ask your mother-in-law how you are supposed to take your son to his doctor's appointments without a chair. Also, go to small claims court. Yep. I thought the same thing too. This is one of those situations you shouldn't be nice. It's business. NTA. We gave you a car seat. You used it for someone else, without our permission, even though we asked for it back several times before the accident, and the seat is ruined. We expect the exact same seat to be replaced and sent to us by the end of the week. That's what's fair, and we will not discuss it further. Perfect response. Maybe the husband should man up and say it since mother-in-law and sister-in-law seem to bully up. Husband's balls are kept in his family's home. Sounds like he needs to step up and say something because if not he has to pay for something his wife didn't give said individual to use. Agree. Original poster should copy and paste this and send to mother-in-law. Don't even engage with sister-in-law. Ultimately mother-in-law owes you the car seat since it was in her possession when it was destroyed. How they can think it's okay for Brody to walk out with 2 car seats, while Noah has none is absolutely absurd. As an aside, I also think it's effing ridiculous that husbands are never taking the charge against their families, and hole needs to be chewed out as well. But you can focus on that after you have a resolution for the car seat. Exactly this, and go so far as to report them for theft if they don't because they're trying to swindle you out of a seat. And I wouldn't worry about damaging the relationship with them. They're doing that all on their own with their actions. NTA original poster time to go to war. NTA, she owes you a car seat in her son's life. The very least thing she should do is replace your car seat and buy another one for herself. I don't understand what sister-in-law and mother-in-law think original poster should do with Noah since he still doesn't have a damn car seat. Do they think he should just use Brody's old car seat? Do they think original poster should store him in the trunk? Or maybe strap him to the roof rack? Any of those suggestions are about as logical as what is being currently proposed. Given that mother-in-law undermines and questions Ops parenting decisions, including the rear-facing car seat decision, it sounds like mother-in-law is taking advantage of the situation to get her way and not have to transport Noah around the way original poster wants. Op needs to put her foot down and not allow mother-in-law to drive her son around anymore if she refuses to comply. I thought it was just the sister-in-law who had all of those opinions? This story confused me in general, as in, who got in the accident. But I was with you on this reading of it. Op's car seat was the right car seat all along, despite sister-in-law's mockery of it, that when the accident happened it had to be their car seat since it was the right car seat. So ownership of Op's car seat shifted by virtue of sister-in-law and mother-in-law always being right at all times. In their self-centered minds, original poster doesn't have a car seat. I'm guessing mother-in-law expects original poster to use the compromised car seat. Most likely there is no visible damage to the seat, but because there could be micro damage, the seat is no longer considered safe. I've had to have insurance replace 2 car seats. They require proof of you cutting the straps on the car seat that was in the accident before they will send you the exact car seat or reimburse you for a new car seat. This is so you cannot sell the damaged one for money. Also, original poster is NTA. Op, if it comes up in your conversation with them, do not let them purchase the replacement seat. Make them give you the money. There are so very many things that can go wrong if they are allowed to purchase the replacement, including them continuing to use it for the other child or even demanding it when they want to use it for him, because they paid for it. You need to get the money and purchase it yourself. Not the butthole. Yes. If allowed to purchase the new one, I could easily see them grudgingly purchasing a used car seat and trying to pass it off as new. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.